Hey everybody! This is Death by D4, and welcome to my guide on how to play as the Undying Warlock subclass in Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition. There's a lot to go over, so be sure to subscribe and let's dive right on in. When you take the subclass at first level, you get your expanded spell list, which grants you additional spells to choose from as a warlock. However, just keep in mind that you will not gain these additional spells for free, and you must choose to learn them just like any of your usual warlock spells. Of the selection made available to you, I'm going to give a special shout out to Contagion, as that is just a very good spell for you to have access to as a warlock. You also get Among the Dead at first level, which grants you the Spare the Dying cantrip for free, and you also gain advantage on all of your saving throws against diseases. Also, if an undead targets you with an attack or harmful spell, then that undead must succeed on a wisdom saving throw against your spell save DC, or be forced to target another creature besides you. That said, it becomes immune to this effect for 24 hours if it succeeds on the save, or if you likewise target it with an attack or harmful spell. In general, I don't really think that this feature is really all that good. The Spare the Dying cantrip is useful to have in stabilizing your allies after combat, but just healing your allies is always going to be a better option. The advantage against diseases is certainly nice as well, but it's just a real shame that it isn't just a straight up immunity to them. After all, that's what the paladins and the monks get eventually, so it certainly pales in comparison to them. Finally, the ability for you to essentially ward off an undead can be pretty useful as well, but since its effect is so easily negated, I just don't think you're really going to get all that much use out of it. Overall, a really weak way to start things off with this particular subclass, especially when you compare it to your other options available to you. At 6th level you get Defy Death, which allows you to regain hit points equal to 1d8 plus your Constitution modifier whenever you succeed on a death saving throw, or stabilize a creature with Spare the Dying once per long rest. Okay, so, although the healing whenever you save another creature's life can be nice, that just massively pales in comparison to being able to stand back up after one successful death save. After all, death saving throws are made at the start of your turn, meaning that you will still get your entire rest of your turn when you use this, and that is just insanely useful. However, the simple fact that you only get to do this once per day is just awful. Yes, it can be a really nice failsafe to have available to you whenever you need it, but only being able to do this once is just super limiting. Maybe if you could use this feature a number of times equal to your spellcasting modifier or your proficiency bonus, then I could see this actually being pretty useful for you. With you only being able to use it just once, I just can't wholeheartedly praise it. Still, it's a useful feature to have, but it really is just so terribly weak overall. At 10th level you get Undying Nature, which removes your need to breathe, eat, drink, and sleep. Also, you gain immunity to magic that would otherwise age you, and you now only age 1 year for every 10 years that pass. Certainly not a terrible feature for you to have, but not one that I see you getting a lot of use out of overall. After all, aging magic is pretty rare in general, and the rest of this feature's effects are just super underwhelming at best, especially since this is the only feature you get at 10th level. So yeah, just chalk this up as another one of your pointless features for yourself and let's move right along. Finally, at 14th level, you get Indestructible Life, which allows you to use your bonus action to regain a number of hit points equal to 1d8 plus your Warlock's level once per short rest. Also, you can use this feature to reattach a severed limb to your body. Okay, so this is basically just a better healing version of your Among the Dead feature, granting you a stronger form of healing while also being able to recharge it after a short rest instead of a long one. This is pretty nice actually, though it's just a bit of a shame you only get this at 14th level. Not only that, but the fact that it allows you to reattach a severed limb is just extremely niche, as the only things that I can even think of that mechanically sever a body part is the Molly Deus and the Vorpal Sword. And since both of those just actually cut off your head and instantly kill you, I don't think that this is actually going to help you whenever you confront these things. Man, what a waste! This subclass has a lot going for it in terms of theme, so it's just such a terrible shame to see that it's one of the weakest subclasses that I've ever covered on this channel. At the very least, we've got the Undead Warlock coming out eventually, which should help fill the gap left behind by this terrible subclass. Alright, so that does it for all the subclass features. Now on to just a few of my own personal recommendations concerning it. First off, I just wouldn't play as this subclass. Seriously, all of this subclass's features are just so terribly weak and underwhelming that it would actually be a detriment for you to choose this over any other Warlock subclass. So you would just be better off just picking something else. However, if you really want to try and make this subclass work, then I just recommend multiclassing with it. After all, the Warlock class in general is just insanely good at multiclassing in general, and I can easily see a Sorcerer or a Paladin, and to some lesser extent a Bard, working very well with this subclass. Not only that, but remember that there are more options available to you for your Undying Patron's forms, as there are plenty of other immortal beings out there that aren't just undead creatures. After all, Celestials are immortals as well, and the same goes for Primordials too, so just make sure you take all of this into consideration if you decide to go this route with your character. And that's it. If you liked the video, then be sure to subscribe and let me know what you think down in the comments below. And if you'd like to have the chance to play D&D with me, then feel free to join my Discord server, and consider supporting me over on Patreon. Thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see all of you in the next video.